Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air itself shift around you, even before a word is spoken? Conversations pause, glances linger, energy subtly recalibrates. People become quieter or strangely tense. Someone may speak with honesty they've never shared before. A colleague grows defensive without reason. A stranger seems inexplicably drawn to you. And when you leave, your presence lingers in gestures, in hushed murmurs, in the way people adjust themselves long after you're gone. For years, you may have dismissed it as coincidence, charisma, or luck. But what if it isn't? What if the reactions you inspire, sometimes drawing people in, sometimes unsettling them, are shaped by something invisible, subtle, yet undeniable? Something that flows naturally from you, touching emotions, thoughts, and actions wherever you go. This is the essence of a strong aura, an unshakable presence that leaves a mark in every environment. It's not about speaking louder or commanding attention. It's the energy you carry, the resonance that shapes rooms, conversations, and even the smallest interactions. It moves through boardrooms, social gatherings, streets, and private moments alike, influencing the people and spaces around you in ways few can articulate. Some are comforted, inspired, or drawn to you. Others feel nervous, intimidated, or envious, often without knowing why. Perhaps you've noticed it. Co-workers behaving differently the moment you appear. Strangers reacting as if you carry something unspoken. Friends or family opening up in ways they rarely do with anyone else. Most people never notice the source. They see reactions, not the invisible current behind them. This guide is about uncovering that hidden truth. By the end, you'll understand the undeniable influence you radiate, the signs that your aura is not just present, but powerful beyond measure. You'll recognize it in the subtle shifts of energy, in the reactions of others, and in the lingering impression you leave on every environment you enter. The truth is simple. Your presence is already shaping the world around you. Once you see it, everything, the way people respond, the way spaces change, will finally make sense. What is aura? Aura is not something you can touch, measure, or quantify. It isn't charisma, charm, or physical appearance, though it may feel like all of those things. It is the invisible energy that radiates from you, the subtle force that shapes how people feel, think, and behave around you, often before a single word is spoken. Imagine a crowded office, a busy cafe, or a noisy family gathering. Amid the chaos, one person enters, and suddenly, everything shifts. Conversations slow, tension eases, someone exhales, another straightens their posture. Nothing overt has happened, yet the change is undeniable. That is aura in action, the unseen presence you carry simply by being. Your aura is like a signal, picked up unconsciously by everyone around you. It communicates confidence, calm, depth, or intensity without a single word. Some respond with warmth and curiosity, others with caution, or even discomfort. It explains why strangers are drawn to you instantly, why friends open up in unexpected honesty, and why colleagues subtly adjust their behavior without knowing why. Aura is not fixed. It grows and strengthens as you align more fully with yourself. Cultivate presence and deepen awareness of your inner state. Clarity, calmness, and authenticity naturally amplify the potency of your energy. The stronger it becomes, the more profound its influence. Some feel comforted, others intimidated, some inspired, others unsettled, all responding to the invisible waves of energy flowing from you. It is never about forcing reactions or control in others. Aura is the natural resonance of your being, a reflection of the depth, clarity, and power you carry. People notice it instinctively, respond to it unconsciously, and feel its effects long before they can articulate why. In essence, aura is the bridge between your inner presence and the outer world. It explains why a room can feel heavier or lighter, warmer or colder, the instant you walk in. And it is the reason the signs of a strong, powerful aura exist. Those patterns you may have observed all your life, but never fully understood. Soon, you will recognize them. You will see why people soften, why some feel challenged or envious, why others are drawn toward you, and why your presence lingers long after you leave. These are the unmistakable signs that your aura is not just present. It is growing, powerful, unshakable, and impossible to ignore. 10 signs you have a strong and powerful aura. An aura is invisible, yet its presence is undeniable. It flows through you, quietly shaping the energy of every room you enter, every conversation you touch, and every interaction you share. Most will never consciously notice it, but its influence is unmistakable. These 10 signs reveal how that energy manifests in the world, how it shifts moods, shapes reactions, and leaves an imprint that lingers long after you have moved on. They are not lessons to perform or tricks to imitate. They are reflections of the energy you already carry. Some signs may feel familiar, resonating with moments you've lived or observed. Others may surprise you, revealing effects you never realized your presence had on others. Watch closely. Notice the subtle rhythms, the unconscious adjustments, the silent echoes that ripple outward. Each sign is a doorway into understanding the invisible influence you wield wherever you go. A testament that your energy is real, tangible, and profoundly transformative. Sign 1. Presence shifts. How your presence transforms the atmosphere. Some people carry a force that bends the very atmosphere around them. It is neither loud nor performative. It is the quiet weight of being fully aligned, fully conscious, and utterly undisturbed. When such energy enters a space, conversations falter, gestures slow, and attention subtly recalibrates. People adjust instinctively. They do not know why. They only feel the pull or the pause. A sense of something profound has arrived, even if nothing has been spoken. This force comforts some and unsettles others. The same presence that soothes tension can expose hesitation, revealing cracks in confidence or hidden uncertainty. The calm it brings can make others feel unsteady. The clarity it radiates can illuminate the shadows they carry. Influence is never demanded. Authority is silent yet palpable. People respond because the energy touches something deep within, a truth they've carried, often unacknowledged, long before it arrived. In gatherings of work or kinship, this energy orchestrates without direction. Heated words soften, scattered attention converges, and stalled decisions find rhythm. Conversations deepen naturally. Strangers unconsciously mirror tone, posture, and expression. Nothing is imposed. All is simply aligned. The world bends not to noise, but to resonance, and those present sense it. even if they cannot name it. The paradox is striking. Power is quiet. Authority does not announce itself. Comfort and challenge coexist. Curiosity and unease arise side by side. People are drawn in, yet they hesitate. They reveal themselves, yet they hold back. The energy mirrors both what they wish to hide and what they most need to confront. Patterns are unmistakable to the observant eye. The subtle pause, the lingering glance, the softening or stiffening of posture. These ripples carry weight. They mark the presence of something that cannot be ignored, a force that reshapes emotional and social landscapes without effort or intention. People respond instinctively. Some lean closer, drawn by a quiet magnetism. Some stiffen, unsettled by the reflection of their inner state. Influence occurs without persuasion. Change happens without instruction. The energy comforts, challenges, and awakens simultaneously. It is authority distilled into resonance, persuasion stripped to its essence, and truth revealed without declaration. Even fleeting encounters leave traces. Rooms remember. Conversations carry subtle echoes. Gestures reverberate long after the person has departed. This is not spectacle. It is the silent imprint of alignment, depth, and presence. The aura of such individuals signals something invisible yet undeniable, shaping thought, behavior, and emotion wherever it flows. Recognition is not earned, it is felt. Attention is not demanded, it gravitates. The strong aura reveals itself through consistency, subtlety, and the reactions of those around it. Presence shifts are the foundational sign of a powerful aura, a window into the invisible force carried by those who move through the world with unshakable alignment. People and spaces bend, soften, tense, or adjust. Not through manipulation, but because the energy resonates and the world unconsciously responds. The essence of such energy is simple yet profound. It touches, it reflects, it endures. Its power is quiet, its authority unquestioned, its effect unyielding. This is the first unmistakable sign. Presence shifts. The signal that an aura is strong, invisible, and impossible to ignore. Sign 2. Truth emerges. The atmosphere that reveals hidden feelings. Some people carry an energy that quietly draws the hidden to the surface. Around them, words stumble, postures shift, and subtle gestures betray what has long been tucked away. Pretense unravels not with confrontation, but with a gentle inevitability, as if the room itself recognizes what has been kept too long. Hidden feelings, unspoken resentments, fleeting desires, private truths. They begin to surface. Even the most practiced masks show cracks, revealing fragments of the self that were never meant to be seen. This is not coercion. It is not manipulation. It is the natural consequence of alignment. Someone fully grounded in their own energy. Around them, social games lose their grip. Half-truths falter. Polite facades wobble. People act, speak, and reveal themselves in ways they rarely do, often before they even notice it. For some, this is a relief. Those who have carried unspoken weight find themselves speaking with unexpected honesty. Guards drop. Conversations deepen effortlessly. Secrets are shared, not because anyone asked, but because the energy creates a space where truth no longer feels dangerous. In this presence, authenticity does not need encouragement. It simply becomes unavoidable. For others, it is unsettling. Those who rely on facades, control, or polished exteriors feel the pressure immediately. The gaps between who they are and who they show to the world become impossible to ignore. Lies tremble. Posturing falters. Quiet insecurities rise to the surface. There is no judgment here, only exposure. Reactions mirror the dissonance that has been carried long before they entered the room. Anxiety, irritation, tension, subtle unease. This phenomenon is universal. In meetings, colleagues betray hesitation, uncertainty, or unspoken opinions. Among friends, confidences spill spontaneously. Hidden tensions quietly surface. Strangers, too, whether they notice it or not, reveal glimpses of their inner state. These responses are not deliberate. They are the natural alignment of human perception, meeting a presence that cannot be ignored. This is why truth emerges is a hallmark of a strong aura. It does not demand honesty. It simply allows it to rise. The energy is coherent, grounded, and real, and in its presence, the truth of those around it cannot hide. Lies lose footing, pretenses soften, hidden feelings and thoughts emerge, revealing patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that often go unseen. The effect is subtle, yet undeniable. People notice, even without realizing why. The conversations feel heavier or lighter, more open or tense. Gestures shift, tones change, postures adjust. Those who are truthful feel ease. Those who conceal feel pressure. The energy acts as a lens, bringing hidden structures into focus without force, demand, or spectacle. Even brief encounters leave their mark. People remember how they spoke, how they felt, how their inner state shifted in ways they had not anticipated. These are the echoes of alignment, the imprint of energy quietly stripping away layers of disguise. Over time, one realizes it is not circumstance or words or chance that reveal truth. It is the presence of someone whose energy is so coherent that it illuminates what has long been hidden. This is the unmistakable sign. Truth emerges naturally around those with a strong, powerful aura. People reveal themselves. Masks falter. Hidden feelings surface. The unspoken becomes visible, not because anyone acts intentionally, but because the energy itself carries the authority of authenticity. In its quiet force, it allows honesty, openness, and revelation to unfold naturally, making the invisible visible and the concealed undeniable. Sign 3. Magnetic pole, the atmosphere that draws and repels. Some presences tug at the world without effort, without words, without demand. They do not ask for attention. They do not perform. Yet people feel it, the silent pull of something coherent, aligned and unyielding in its authenticity. Some lean closer instinctively, drawn as if the energy hums a rhythm their own minds unconsciously recognize. Others resist, stiffen, or retreat, unsettled by a truth they cannot name. This pull is not charm or social skill. It is the resonance of being fully present, fully integrated, fully grounded in one's own energy. The paradox of magnetic pull is its duality. For some, it is irresistible. People feel safe, seen, understood, even before a word is spoken. They seek proximity, conversation, guidance, or simply the quiet reassurance of presence. For others, the same energy is challenging, stirring subtle tension, discomfort, or defensiveness. It reflects what they lack, what they avoid, what they fear confronting in themselves. The aura does not create these reactions. It mirrors them. The draw and the resistance are both evidence of its potency. This force shapes the currents of interaction without instruction. People unconsciously adjust, leaning in, softening tone, aligning posture, or revealing vulnerability. Some strive to impress, not out of vanity, but because the presence illuminates their own ambitions and gaps. Others withdraw, guarding against the mirror it holds to their inner state. Conversations bend toward honesty, attention sharpens, decisions clarify, not by persuasion or command, but because energy organizes social dynamics naturally. Magnetic pull is deeply psychological. It exposes insecurities, highlights unacknowledged strengths, and shifts behavior without a word. Attraction and resistance are two sides of the same phenomenon, unconscious responses to the aura's alignment and depth. People cannot fully explain why they feel compelled or unsettled. They only sense the force, the clarity, the coherence that demands alignment within themselves. Its effects endure. Even fleeting exposure leaves traces. People remember how they felt, how their thoughts shifted, how their own intentions subtly changed. The magnetic pull lingers because it touches the unconscious. It does not ask for attention, yet it imprints. It does not command, yet it organizes. The effect is invisible but undeniable. A silent gravitational field surrounding someone whose inner alignment radiates outward. Those who carry this energy rarely intend to influence. They simply exist in coherence, and the world reacts. Some are drawn in, seeking connection, alignment, or guidance without knowing why. Others resist, protecting themselves from the unspoken truths revealed by proximity. Both responses reveal the aura's depth. Attraction and resistance are markers of potency, not consequence. Magnetic pull demonstrates a fundamental truth about human interaction. Energy communicates far more than words. Presence signals alignment, calm, authenticity, and depth. People instinctively measure themselves against it, consciously or not. Those who cannot meet it feel unease. Those who resonate feel drawn. The strongest presences do not try to attract, they simply exist. And in that existence, a silent law unfolds. The energy reveals, the world responds, and influence happens naturally, effortlessly, profoundly. This is the unmistakable sign, magnetic pull. People move toward it or away, reveal themselves or resist, align unconsciously or challenge the rhythm. But all of it reflects the unshakable, resonant force carried by someone whose aura cannot be ignored. Sign 4. Emotional echoes. How your presence mirrors the inner lives around you. A strong aura does more than influence a room. It reflects it. Those who carry powerful presence rarely need to speak to shift the emotional currents around them. Their energy acts like a tuning fork. Whatever is unstable in others begins to vibrate. What is buried rises, and what is false trembles. This is not imitation, flattery, or charm. It is exposure, raw and unavoidable. When someone aligned enters a space, the emotional undercurrents adjust without conscious thought. Posture straightens or stiffens. Eyes linger or avert. Breathing quickens or slows. Moods shift in subtle yet undeniable ways. Most people move through life behind masks, polite expressions, measured tones, carefully curated postures designed to hide vulnerability. But the presence of someone whose inner energy is coherent strips away these layers. The mask falters. The unspoken truths of those around them emerge. The confident feel steadier. The insecure grow restless. The honest deepen in their sincerity. The deceitful sense unease. The inspired burn brighter. The fearful reveal their fear. No word is spoken. No action is performed. The aura simply exists, and in its presence, people see themselves more clearly. A strong aura is like a lantern in a cavern. It does not create shadows. It reveals them. Some soften as tension finds release. Others open as honesty feels safer than pretense. Some stiffen, defensive or irritable, confronted with truths they would rather ignore. These reactions are never caused by the aura itself. They are triggered by the realities it exposes. Your calm may intimidate, your groundedness may unsettle, your focus may illuminate distraction, your neutrality may awaken hidden insecurities. The paradox is profound. The same energy that comforts one can challenge another. The same steadiness that inspires some can unsettle others. The same silence that soothes some can force confrontation in others. This mirroring happens because a powerful presence is a stable reference point. People measure themselves unconsciously against it, aligning, resisting, or revealing what they usually suppress. The energy sets the rhythm without effort. It does not demand attention, compliance, or admiration, but it shapes the flow of interaction. Conversations deepen, moments of truth arise, tensions smooth or sharpen, not because of any deliberate action, but because the aura exposes what is real. Some are drawn instinctively to this energy, seeking alignment and clarity without knowing why. Others recoil, unsettled by the light it casts on inconsistencies they have long ignored. A strong aura does not coerce. It simply awakens honesty, vulnerability, and reflection. Emotional echoes are the natural outcome. Calm inspires calm, steadiness invites openness, subtle seriousness demands focus, and groundedness evokes honesty. Every response, warm, cold, admiring, resistant, anxious, is a reflection of what the presence reveals. It is not a projection of intent. It is the unveiling of what already exists inside the observer. This is why emotional echoes are one of the most profound signs of a strong aura. The ability to make others confront, reveal, and sometimes transform themselves simply by standing fully aligned in one's own energy. The effect is immediate, yet lasting, subtle, yet undeniable. It leaves traces long after the person has passed through a space. Emotional echoes are the quiet signature of power, stability, and presence. They are not taught, performed, or imposed. They emerge naturally from coherence. People do not mirror by choice. They mirror because the aura exposes their truth. In responding, they reveal the invisible force of a strong, unshakable presence. Sign 5, Lasting Imprint. How your presence echoes after you leave. Impact is not measured in applause, attention, or spoken words. It is measured by what lingers after someone departs. The quiet shift in a room, the subtle change in posture, the thoughts and feelings that settle in long after an encounter. Even in absence, the energy they carried continues to shape emotions, decisions, and interactions in ways that cannot be forced, explained, or imitated. It lingers, unseen yet undeniable, a silent signature of coherence and depth. Some leave rooms lighter, some heavier, and some simply different in ways that are difficult to articulate. It is never about performance or visibility. It is about alignment, the unshakable harmony of thought, emotion, and energy. People sense it instinctively. Conversations that were tense or scattered find rhythm. Decisions that lingered indecisively crystallize. Attention sharpens, moods recalibrate, as though guided by an invisible hand. The lasting imprint reveals itself in the subtle recalibrations of those who remain. A colleague approaches a task with unexpected focus. A A friend speaks with candidness previously withheld. A stranger mirrors the calm, clarity, or decisiveness they once felt nearby. No instruction was given, no persuasion attempted. The energy simply resonated, and people adjusted, often without realizing why. This influence is both subtle and profound. It can spark reflection, inspire action, or surface hidden emotions. A fleeting encounter may replay in the mind, revealing nuances previously overlooked. Someone might feel compelled to resolve a lingering matter, not because they were told to, but because the energy they encountered illuminated gaps in awareness or alignment. Even small interactions gain depth because the aura that passed through has recalibrated the unconscious rhythms of those present. The paradox is striking. The strongest imprints are invisible, yet undeniable. They are not performed, controlled, or measured by recognition or applause. Instead, they ripple through people's inner landscapes, shaping thought, behavior, and emotion without intervention. People remember how they felt long after recalling no specific words or gestures, because the energy engaged with something deeper, something essential within them. A lasting imprint is also a mark of true alignment. Fragmented, forced, or performative energy fades quickly, leaving little trace. But coherent, grounded presence endures. People carry it in the form of reflection, renewed clarity, subtle shifts in emotional state, and behavioral change. The aura touches the environment and the minds within it, silently but profoundly. Its influence is universal. In workplaces, colleagues unconsciously adjust focus, tone, or cooperation. In social gatherings, friends speak more honestly, share more freely, and carry a heightened sense of presence. Even in passing moments with strangers, gestures, expressions, or decisions can bear the signature of energy briefly encountered. It lingers because it interacts not with attention alone, but with the deeper patterns of perception and emotion embedded within people. The truth is undeniable. The strongest auras do not fade with departure. They leave a resonance, a subtle, invisible echo of energy that continues to shape thought, behavior, and feeling long after the person is gone. People respond instinctively, often without knowing why, because the energy has established a reference point of alignment and authenticity. The world, quietly, remembers. Rooms, conversations, and hearts retain the touch of presence that cannot be replicated, demanded, or manufactured. This is the essence of the fifth sign, lasting imprint. It proves that energy, when fully coherent and aligned, does more than occupy space. It leaves traces in minds, hearts, and environments. It endures beyond physical presence, shaping the subtle currents of human interaction. People carry it with them, consciously or unconsciously, as testament to the quiet, unyielding power of a presence that is strong, grounded, and impossible to ignore. Sign 6, Shadow Trigger. How your presence unveils others' hidden insecurities. A person with a strong, grounded aura can stir reactions in others that seem inexplicable at first. Anger flares without reason. Jealousy sparks spontaneously. Insecurity rises to the surface. It is not the fault of the one with the aura. No words have been spoken, no demands made. Yet the energy interacts with the hidden layers of those nearby, exposing fears, unresolved wounds, and buried emotions that have long been left unacknowledged. Carl Jung called these hidden, often repressed aspects of the psyche the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny conceal, or disown. The shadow is rarely evil. It is simply unconscious, containing traits, desires, or emotions we have yet to integrate. When someone with a coherent, powerful presence enters a room, their energy acts like a mirror, reflecting not only light, but shadow. Others unconsciously project what they cannot face onto this presence, reacting as though the aura itself has triggered the truths they have long avoided. This phenomenon occurs because human perception is layered. Energy resonates with the deepest, often unconscious levels of the self. Deep-seated fears, unprocessed emotions, and shadowed aspects respond instinctively to alignment. When a calm, steady, coherent presence enters a space, the contrast is unmistakable. Internal dissonance becomes visible, not through words alone, but in posture, tone, expression, and subtle behavior. Some stiffen, withdraw, or tighten. Others react sharply or defensively, as if an unseen mirror has exposed vulnerabilities they were not prepared to confront. Reactions are rarely rational. A normally composed individual may feel agitation. A typically confident person may falter or grow unusually cautious. Hidden jealousy, competitiveness, or self-doubt surfaces effortlessly because the energy illuminates the gaps between outer persona and inner truth. The aura acts as a silent magnifier, revealing what has always existed but remained unconscious. This is why shadow trigger is a defining sign of a strong aura. It uncovers what others would rather leave unseen. The effect is not malicious. It is simply the natural consequence of resonance and contrast. People do not invent these reactions. They arise because the clarity, coherence, and alignment of another's presence expose inconsistencies, unhealed wounds, and unresolved emotions. In Jungian terms, the aura holder awakens projections, illuminating shadows that most are rarely willing or able to confront on their own. Some experience this exposure as discomfort. They feel judged, threatened, or defensive, even when no judgment exists. Others respond with envy, subtle undermining, or criticism, projecting inner turmoil onto the aura holder. For those capable of reflection, however, the experience offers profound insight. The aura does not create shadow. It merely makes it visible, allowing individuals to recognize patterns, triggers, and emotional blocks they have long ignored. Shadow trigger is instructive. It reveals who can hold space for honesty and self-reflection, and who struggles when confronted with their own inconsistencies. It exposes who mirrors alignment and who resists clarity. In this way, a strong aura functions as a diagnostic force, not for manipulation, but for revealing the subtle dynamics of human emotion, perception, and reaction. Even brief encounters can provoke these responses. A glance, a fleeting conversation, or mere proximity can ignite reactions that uncover jealousy, latent anger, or insecurity. The effect is subtle, yet unmistakable. The stronger the aura, the more vivid the revelation. People may leave the room uneasy, puzzled, or unusually self-aware. Their reactions reflect not the aura itself, but the unconscious truths it makes visible. The paradox of shadow trigger is profound. Those unsettled are confronted with what they have hidden. Those secure or aligned feel recognition, relief, or quiet inspiration. The energy does not differentiate between comfort and discomfort. It simply reveals, exposing what lies beneath the surface. This is the sixth unmistakable sign of a strong, powerful aura. The ability to illuminate the hidden, unhealed, and unresolved in others. It is evidence that alignment is not only visible, but transformative, provoking awareness, reflection, and sometimes discomfort. The aura does not demand change. It simply renders what exists impossible to ignore. In Jungian terms, it awakens shadows, encourages integration, and invites those around you to confront the parts of themselves they have long denied. Sign 7. Action Spark. The atmosphere that motivates and inspires. Albert Einstein once said, "Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form." This is not only a principle of physics, it is a law of human interaction, expressed in the invisible currents that shape thought, emotion, and behavior. When someone carries a strong, coherent aura, their energy does not merely occupy space, it ignites transformation in those around them. People leave encounters feeling stirred, invigorated, or compelled into action, not because they were commanded, persuaded, or guided, but because energy in its purest form naturally seeks resonance. The phenomenon is subtle yet unmistakable. Motivation, inspiration, and initiative are not given. They are awakened. People unconsciously measure themselves against the clarity, alignment, and depth they encounter. When the reference point is steady, hesitation, indecision, and doubt can no longer hide in the background. What once seemed difficult or unreachable now appears attainable, not through external pressure, but because the aura illuminates an internal path toward courage, clarity, and purpose. This effect manifests across all settings. In the workplace, colleagues who have lingered in indecision suddenly contribute ideas with precision and confidence. Among friends, the reticent speak with unexpected honesty. Even strangers feel it. The calm, focused, or inspiring energy of a single presence awakens latent initiative, as though the aura itself whispers, "This is possible. Step forward." It is never coercion. It is recognition. People responding to what they sense as aligned, grounded, and real. The psychological dynamics are profound. Humans constantly, often unconsciously, calibrate their internal state against the energy around them. Fragmented, scattered energy sparks dissonance. Coherent, aligned energy invites harmony. Motivation arises because the aura functions as a living benchmark. It exposes stagnation, awakens potential, and invites action without effort. People do not follow. They respond, naturally and instinctively, to clarity and alignment they recognize, even if they cannot explain it. A strong aura also dissolves subtle resistance. Hesitation, doubt, and procrastination are often products of internal misalignment. The presence of someone grounded and coherent makes these barriers visible and paradoxically easier to overcome. The aura does not compel action. It illuminates paths that have always existed, gently revealing potential and clearing the way. Inspiration is not imposed. It emerges naturally and inevitably. This energy resonates on multiple levels. On a primal plane, humans are drawn to coherence, authenticity, and calm. Signals of safety and possibility. On a higher plane, the mind aligns, sharpening focus, clarifying decisions, and prioritizing deliberate action. These levels converge. Action ignites, ideas flow, and potential finds expression, all triggered by the silent authority of a strong, aligned presence. The paradox is compelling. Some respond with eagerness, stepping into tasks or risks they had long avoided. Others resist or retreat, unsettled by the stark contrast between their scattered energy and the aligned aura before them. Yet even resistance is movement, a confrontation with truth that would otherwise remain dormant. Every reaction, whether drawn forward or pulled back, reflects the profound influence of coherent energy. Even fleeting encounters carry weight. A brief conversation, a shared glance, or the subtle rhythm of focus can spark thought, inspire risk, or awaken honesty. The impact is often unconscious. People may not understand why they feel motivated, clarified, or energized, yet the effect is deep, lasting, and undeniable. This is the unmistakable sign. Actions spark. When people move differently, think more clearly, or express themselves more fully in your presence, it is evidence that your energy carries coherence, alignment, and influence. Motivation is not granted. It is catalyzed. Inspiration is not handed down. It is mirrored. Your aura does not demand action. It awakens it, revealing the potential that has always existed within others and lighting the path toward clarity, alignment, and authentic expression. Sign 8. Invisible boundaries, the atmosphere that commands respect without words. Boundaries are usually spoken, explained, or defended, yet for some, they are felt without a single word. A strong aura communicates limits effortlessly. A quiet authority that asks nothing yet is recognized instinctively. People calibrate themselves naturally, aligning behavior, tone, and attention to the energy present without instruction, confrontation, or explanation. Respect flows because the boundaries are woven into the very rhythm of presence. This phenomenon arises because energy carries information. When someone is fully aligned, coherent, and grounded, the edges of their presence are unmistakable. Limits are embedded in the flow of their energy. People unconsciously sense what is welcome, what is off limits, and how far they can venture, like approaching an invisible fence that signals protection, clarity, and self-respect. To cross it feels awkward, unsettling, or incongruent, not out of fear, but because energy communicates more clearly than words ever could. The psychological dynamics are subtle, yet profound. Humans constantly scan for social, emotional, and energetic cues. When someone's energy is aligned and self-contained, it serves as a reference point for interaction. People adjust posture, tone, and behavior unconsciously. Those who are internally grounded create a natural, social gravity that draws appropriate engagement and repels intrusion. Attempts to ignore or bypass these boundaries immediately trigger discomfort, revealing the intuitive clarity that coherent energy naturally projects. Invisible boundaries manifest in every setting. In meetings, colleagues instinctively leave space, avoiding dominance without being told. In friendships, conversations flow with balance, respecting emotional limits. Even in brief encounters with strangers, people modulate proximity, tone, and attention instinctively. These responses are not taught. They arise organically because the aura communicates authority, clarity, and self-respect. People respond accordingly, without conscious effort. The paradox is striking. Strong boundaries do not require defensiveness, argument, or assertion. They coexist seamlessly with warmth, openness, and presence. People feel drawn in by the energy, yet instinctively recognize limits. They are neither stifled nor intimidated. They simply adjust. Respect arises naturally because the aura signals coherence, integrity, and self-containment. Attempting to overstep feels energetically discordant, creating subtle tension that is instantly felt. Invisible boundaries also preserve the integrity of energy itself. When people sense limits instinctively, interactions remain constructive and safe. Energy is not drained by overextension. Attention is not fragmented by intrusion, and influence remains potent. The aura maintains coherence, allowing emotional resonance, inspiration, and subtle leadership to persist. People unconsciously honor the space, creating interactions that are smoother, clearer, and more effective without a word being spoken. Even fleeting encounters carry this signature. A brief conversation can leave people aware of the rhythm of respect and clarity of space, adjusting their behavior long after the interaction ends. It is a form of silent leadership, boundaries communicated entirely through presence, shaping behavior and energy with effortless precision. This is the unmistakable sign: invisible boundaries. When people naturally adjust, honor limits, and align their behavior without instruction, it is evidence of an aura that is coherent, grounded, and profoundly influential. Boundaries do not need to be articulated. They are sensed, recognized, and respected, revealing the subtle but immense power of presence that communicates integrity, self-respect, and authority effortlessly. Sign 9. The indescribable atmosphere. The aura that defies easy understanding. Some energy cannot be labeled, classified, or neatly explained. It moves in layers, contradictions, and subtleties that defy expectation. People may believe they understand it, observing gestures, words, or behavior, only to realize their assumptions were shallow, incomplete, or entirely mistaken. This is the essence of a strong, powerful aura. It resists simplification, refusing to fit into the neat boxes others try to impose. The allure of the indescribable lies in its tension with perception. Humans instinctively seek patterns and certainty. The mind wants to measure, predict, and control. Yet some presences operate outside these frameworks. Every glance, pause, or silence carries meaning, but not the meaning people expect. The energy is coherent yet fluid, grounded yet unpredictable. This contradiction is deliberate, emerging from alignment with depth, authenticity, and internal complexity. Psychologically, encountering such energy is destabilizing. People oscillate between recognition and confusion. Curiosity sparks, admiration grows, and at the same time uncertainty gnaws. The mind, conditioned for predictability, senses something substantial yet elusive. Observers attempt to rationalize, interpret, or compare, yet the aura does not conform. It cannot be reduced to actions, titles, or roles. It exists in resonance, in coherence, in a truth that can only be felt, never fully captured. This mysterious depth generates both attraction and resistance. Some are drawn irresistibly to the energy, sensing its honesty, insight, or quiet power. Others instinctively pull back, unsettled by the unknowable or by the reflection of their own incomplete self. This is not manipulation. It is the natural consequence of alignment with complexity. People respond not to intention, but to the subtle, undeniable signals of internal coherence. The indescribable aura communicates through nuance, contradiction, and subtle tension. Words may hint at hidden layers. Actions may surprise or defy expectation. Behavior may challenge assumptions, yet everything remains consistent with the internal truth carried by the energy. People notice something profound without being able to articulate it, a recognition that cannot be put into words but is undeniably sensed. This is why such presences linger in memory, spark reflection, and inspire lifelong curiosity. Even prolonged observation fails to capture the full essence. People think they understand, only to encounter new facets, unexpected insights, or deeper contours. This perpetual mystery is a signal of profound alignment. Complexity is not confusion. Depth is not contradiction. The aura is so internally coherent that it cannot be simplified externally without losing its integrity. This is the unmistakable sign, the indescribable atmosphere. When your presence defies prediction, when people struggle to fully grasp the energy you carry, it is evidence of a deep, powerful aura. It is the mark of someone whose alignment, depth, and authenticity operate beyond superficial understanding, a force that cannot be contained by expectation, assumption, or analysis. Sign 10. Polarized response. The atmosphere that elicits strong, contrasting reactions. Impact is not measured by consensus. It is measured by intensity, the sharp pull and push that arise when energy meets energy. Some are drawn in immediately, their attention heightened, focus sharpened, as if encountering a mirror reflecting what they aspire to become. Others recoil, unsettled, instinctively bracing against a truth they cannot articulate, a clarity that illuminates what they have long avoided. The strong aura does not seek to provoke, yet extremes naturally emerge. This is the paradox of resonance. Human attention is magnetically drawn to coherence. When someone carries a presence so aligned, so internally integrated, it becomes a standard, a reference point against which others unconsciously measure themselves. Those attuned rise. Those misaligned hesitate or resist. Neither response is contrived, nor is it personal. Reactions are projections of internal alignment and dissonance. Energy simply exists. It does not persuade. It reveals. Some are inspired to action, stirred by the clarity and steadiness of presence. Ideas that once lay dormant awaken. Confidence resurfaces. Subtle initiative takes shape. Others, encountering the same energy, feel pressure, tension, or discomfort. The aura exposes gaps they tolerated, contradictions they normalized, and truths they avoided confronting. This is neither judgment nor critique. It is the unavoidable echo of alignment made visible. The contrast is precise. One person leans forward, drawn instinctively, engaging fully. Another withdraws, internalizing the energy as a quiet admonition. The same glance, pause, or gesture evokes divergent reactions because the aura reveals the hidden rhythm within each observer. It polarizes attention effortlessly, without intent, without demand. Even the subtlest signals carry weight. A steady gaze, a calm cadence, a lingering presence. None of it is neutral. The aura calibrates perception, highlights alignment, and exposes dissonance. People adjust unconsciously, not because they are instructed, but because the energy establishes a standard that cannot be ignored. The aura acts like an axis. The world orients itself around it, revealing who resonates and who resists, who aligns and who recoils. Polarized response is not conflict. It is clarity. It separates authenticity from pretense, alignment from tension, receptivity from avoidance. It exposes the architecture of human interaction in its purest form. People respond to energy, not instruction. Reactions are immediate, raw, and unfiltered, bypassing conscious deliberation to engage directly with the internal calibration each person carries. Even fleeting encounters leave a lasting signature. Minutes can reveal alignment. Months can reveal resistance. The energy leaves traces that linger long after presence has departed, subtly influencing choices, shaping relationships, and clarifying perception. People remember not the words, but the resonance, the imprint of coherent energy upon attention and emotion. This is the unmistakable sign, polarized response. When those around you shift sharply, some drawn in, some held at bay, it is no coincidence. It is proof that your aura carries depth, integrity, and influence far beyond observable action. Reactions are not about approval or fear. They are about resonance. Energy is never neutral, and a strong, aligned aura commands responses that reveal the inner contrasts of those who encounter it, reflecting the invisible power of presence. The invisible force that shapes reality. The truth of presence is rarely explained. It is simply recognized. Rooms adjust before words are spoken. Conversations shift before intentions are formed, and people respond in ways they cannot name. The energy carried by a strong aura moves silently, yet its effects are unmistakable. Some are drawn forward, compelled to speak, to act, to engage. Others pull back, unsettled by clarity or coherence they cannot reconcile within themselves. The 10 signs: presence shifts, emotional echoes, truth emerges, lasting imprint, magnetic pull, action spark, invisible boundaries, the indescribable atmosphere, shadow trigger, and polarized response are evidence of this unseen current. Each sign reveals the ways human beings unconsciously align, resist, or recalibrate in response to a force that is fully grounded, fully aligned, and fully present. These reactions are not directed, performed, or requested. They rise naturally, like a reflection in a mirror that cannot lie. A strong aura does not perform. It does not persuade. It does not demand. It radiates coherence, and coherence commands recognition. Those who encounter it are subtly transformed. Attention sharpens, honesty surfaces, initiative is sparked, and unspoken truths emerge. Even resistance carries insight. It illuminates boundaries, exposes gaps between projection and authenticity, and reveals the contrasts that define human perception. The paradox is inescapable. Influence exists without effort. Authority manifests without declaration. Comfort and unease coexist. Curiosity and apprehension arise simultaneously. Attraction and resistance appear side by side. Every response, leaning in, stepping back, softening, tightening, is evidence of the invisible resonance carried by those whose energy is aligned with themselves. This resonance endures. Moments leave traces in posture, tone, gesture, and thought. Spaces remember presence long after the individual has departed. Conversations subtly reorder. Decisions crystallize with clarity that was previously absent. Human attention, perception, and interaction are gently guided, not through control, but through the quiet, consistent, undeniable alignment of energy. The ultimate lesson of these 10 signs is clear. The power of an aura is not in performance, speech, or persuasion. Its power is in being fully present, fully grounded, and wholly coherent. Its influence is felt, recognized, and remembered because it exists as a standard, subtle, silent, and impossible to ignore. The world bends not through command, but through the invisible architecture of presence, reflecting, revealing, and reshaping everything it touches. If this wisdom resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to join us on the path of conscious living.